On today's episode, we are going to be flipping this tired and very farmhouse looking dresser into something extremely elegant and French provincial. I'm going for a super high end look here. This dresser needed tons of repair before I could even think about painting it, but the color that I chose is a color that sells like crazy. I had to look in my garage hoard for some accessories to decorate it with, as well as things to put in my booth to sell. And then I'm going to make over some of the things that I found in there to go along with my French Provincial theme. I even had to hose some things off today, but you're really going to flip when you see how high end everything turns out in the end. Let's get going. So this dresser, I believe I got for around $20 off Facebook Marketplace. And the reason it was so cheap is because, first of all, nobody wanted it in the condition it was in. And second of all, it needed a ton of repairs. A lot of furniture flippers will see this condition and walk away because I don't blame them, honestly. It's a lot of work. When you have to fix a lot of chipping veneer, it's a pain in the butt. It takes a lot of time and effort and hours of labor, which you may not see in the profit when you go to sell it. So keep that in mind. You may not see a profit that is very great from a piece that needs tons of work like this. But if you're somebody who doesn't resell and you are trying to find something cheap to make over for your own home, then adding some sweat equity into pieces like this is a great way for you to save money and keep a tight budget while having a absolutely stunningly beautiful home. So the first thing we need to do is get these drawers out and start figuring out what the condition is on the inside of the piece. It was missing the drawer slide guide in the middle here, but it was in the drawer. So I took it out and tried to figure out what exactly was going on here. So obviously it was broken on the end, but the nails were still intact inside. And so I just guided it back into where it was and hammered it back down into the nails that were already there. And then I'm going to take some super glue. Guys, this is the best super glue ever. It is Star Bond and it dries instantly with this little spray that I'm going to use. This stuff is super strong and it makes my time that I have to spend working on stuff go by way faster since that spray makes it dry instantly. See, done, dry. So I repaired that drawer slide already. I've been using this glue for years and I have a discount code for you guys in my description box if you guys want to ever check it out. You will use this stuff nonstop on your projects. But let's see what condition the rest of these drawers are in. Second one was fine. Third one, completely missing the guide. Fourth one, also completely missing the guide. We're going to have to go up to Lowe's and get a piece of wood to replace those two. But while we're waiting for that, let's get this Bondo on here. I'm going to use the quick drying Bondo so that these projects can go by a lot faster. It says it cures in 15 minutes, and sometimes it's even faster than that, honestly. I also took off all the handles, and here's what they look like. But what you do is you take a golf ball size amount of the Bondo and then do like a toothpaste amount squirt in there and mix it up really good. And then you can spread it on the spot that you need to fill in. But keep in mind this stuff dries so fast that you have to work very, very quickly. If it starts getting chunky, it's already too late. You need to toss that batch out and start a new one. It should stay smooth the entire time you're working with it, or else you're not going to have a nice smooth finish when you sand it. And that can be a pain in the butt if you are beginning. So start out with very small amounts. You don't even have to do the full golf ball size amount. You can just do a tiny little bit at a time and practice or just work in small bits. If you do mess it up though, it's really not a big deal. All you have to do is sand it off and do it again. The trim piece had a little bit of a wiggle to it, so I used my Starbond super glue in this spot as well and dried it instantly and then continued working on it. The next thing I'm going to do is spray everything that I've sanded down with some spray shellac. The reason I use spray shellac is because it's going to seal in any stains or paints or whatever. It's a great way to cover up some stains so that they don't come through your paint, and it also kind of levels out the surface a little bit for you. After sanding it, I noticed that there were these circle-shaped gouges in the paint, and I didn't want to have to sand all the way down. I also needed to fill in a spot that I missed with the Bondo. So I'm going to mix up a little more Bondo and fill those in really quick. Sometimes it's not worth sanding all the way down to the raw wood again, especially if there's a chance that even the wood has that gouge in it deep down in there. So this was one of those times where I thought, let's just Bondo it. The base molding detail here was completely destroyed, and the more I peeled back, the more I realized that it wasn't even made that well of quality anyways. So I decided to rip it off and just have a nice clean straight line on the bottom instead of having this molding. And the tool that I'm going to use to get this off is a Dremel. If you don't have a Dremel, you are missing out. I say this in almost every video because I use this in almost every video. But the Dremel is one of the best tools you could possibly have to do any kind of work around the house or on furniture projects. I'll link one in my Amazon store for you that is similar to what I have. They are just completely the most valuable tool you'll ever get. Not sponsored by Dremel, but man, I should be because I use this thing all the time. It cuts through nails, screws, wood, whatever you need to cut through. Then I'm going to sand over that area that I just cut off just to make sure it's nice and smooth because I will be painting all the surfaces of this except inside where the drawers go. But I do love to paint the bottoms and backs of pieces because I think it just looks better and it helps protect the piece better over the next course of the rest of its life. Now it's time to add in these drawer glides or guides or whatever you want to call it. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cut it with my Dremel. I'm just gonna mark where to cut it with the Dremel and then scoot it out and cut it straight across. And then I'm gonna use my super glue again to attach these in here. Before the glue dries, I'm going to put the drawer in and have it line up perfectly so that way the drawer holds that guide where it's supposed to be until it dries. That way it will be in the exact right spot it's supposed to be. This will ensure that your guide is going to make the drawer go in nice and straight. The bottom one I had a lot of issues with, and for some reason that guide was just too wide for the drawer. I don't know how the other one works, but this one didn't. So I trimmed it down and then attached it again, and I had to just do a little bit of adjusting here and there. And then once it was sliding in how I wanted it to, I left it alone to dry. I let the spray shellac dry overnight and then I painted it in a fusion color called Champness. Champness? I don't know how to say that. It's probably a French word, but I am sure I'm pronouncing it wrong. Anyway, I chose this beautiful French color because I thought it would be perfect for this French Provincial look that I'm going for. I had another dresser that I had done in my son's bedroom makeover a while back. If you haven't seen that, you can check it out. But I did it in a French blue with its original brass handles. And I sold that dresser instantly as soon as I put it in my booth. We were kind of rearranging his room upstairs, so we didn't need it anymore. But somebody had messaged me for it since I posted it on Marketplace, advertising it for my booth, and they wanted it really bad. So I went to the store to go put it on hold for them, and somebody was already there buying it. And so the person from Facebook was super bummed that it had already sold, and they asked if I had another one. I said, well, I don't have another wide one, but I do have a tall one. And I sent the dimensions over. They said that that was perfect. And I said, okay, well, let me paint this one for you. And then I will get it put on hold in the store for you once it's done. So that way nobody else can buy it before you. Well, it sold yesterday. And I hope that the person who bought it is going to really enjoy it because it looks stunningly beautiful when I am done with it. Also, one of the employees that works in the boutique where my shop is said that they had wanted to buy the other one as well and that it sold too quickly before they could get it. And so, you know what that shows me? It shows me this color is a hot selling color. I would have never thought that it would be such a quick seller because it's not neutral. It's kind of neutral, but it's not really. And so it's kind of a risk, but it was a risk that paid off. So if you're trying to flip some furniture or if you want to know what's really in right now to decorate with in your home, French blue and a lot of greens actually too. But man, this French blue with the gold hardware sells like hotcakes. Just to show that I am human and I do get paint drips on the floor, this is how you clean them up. Wet rag, dry rag. It's so easy to clean up paint drips. That's why I don't even worry about putting down a drop cloth. For some reason, I was dripping a lot today and I had to clean up 4 different drips on the floor as I was working. But still, it took 2 seconds to clean up each one. Easy peasy, and you don't have to worry about pulling out a big old drop cloth. I don't know what was going on with me today, but I got paint on my shirt and in my hair. So, again, I am human. It does happen. It's not a big deal. For the handles, they were spray painted with a hammered silver look, and it actually held up really well. So, if you're interested in a spray paint that's going to last really well on handles, this hammered spray paint seems like it was really good quality. But I'm going for a gold look, so I got the gold leaf color of Rub and Buff, and I'm going to apply it on here using a small little sponge brush. I just squeeze on a little bit of the Rub and Buff on here, and then I wipe it all around with the sponge brush until I get the coverage that I'm desiring. Another finished project and another one that I wish that I could keep. This is so beautiful. Oh my goodness. Let me know what you think of this color combination in the comments below. And don't go anywhere because I still have to take you in my garage hoard to pick out some accessories to decorate this with. But let's just take a moment to really savor the beauty of this piece. Okay, now I need to find some stuff to decorate the top of that dresser with. I'm thinking maybe these. What do you think? They look French, Provincial in shape. I also want to find artwork, like maybe this one would work. I don't know. If I paint the frame, I think this blue could look really great. I also have this fern right here that I got from Goodwill. I spent $6.99 on it, but it's really real looking. And I have this really dirty chinoiserie pot. It's beautiful. And I thought maybe I can clean it up and put the fern in there. I also have this dome clock. I don't think it works. Ew, look at that dead spider. Ugh. But maybe just decorative it might sell, even though it's not working because it's so cool looking. The two candle holders I'm going to spray paint with some gold. I love this gold color and I use it a lot. I actually used it in my last video too. But these were given to me by my neighbor. They were getting rid of stuff and she was like, hey, could you use this for your shop? And I said, sure, just drop it off. So she dropped off quite a few things for me and I'm excited to get this one redone and up in the booth so that way I can help empty my garage out. And I am so thankful to everyone who has been donating lots of cool stuff to me to help support our family business. And another thing that was donated to us was that clock as well. In my last video, I had told you about how somebody had donated their parents' estate stuff to me, and that clock was a part of that estate as well. So if you're watching, thank you so much. But I just did a coat of gold upside down and then right side up. Gold spray paint or metallic spray paint in general usually dries really fast. So by the time I was done painting it upside down, I could flip it right side up and paint the other side. It was already dry. And when it comes to that fern, it was really dusty and that pot was super dirty. So I'm going to hose these off first before I do anything else. But then we can go inside and start decorating. I decided that this green frame looks amazing and hopefully the fern will help draw that color out even more. I added felt pads to the bottom of this pot so that it doesn't damage my painted finish. The fern looks absolutely beautiful here. I think these candle holders are the perfect size and color to decorate on the right hand side to balance out the size of the fern. I won't be adding candles to it since it is just going to my booth and not going to be decorating my home, but if you were decorating your home with these, I would add a candle wreath and some candles. The clock adds the most beautiful, whimsical touch. It reminds me of Beauty and the Beast, which is also French inspired. Let's take a look back at what we started with. This dresser was the opposite of what I wanted it to be. It was farmhouse, like a fire engine red color, and very in distress, and not in a good way. But we ended up flipping it into this high-end, gorgeous French Provincial piece that looks like $1,000,000. Not to mention all the great accessories that we fixed up, cleaned up, and added to decorate the top of this beautiful dresser to make it shine even more. Thank you so much for watching today. If you liked what you saw, don't forget to hit subscribe, and I will see you next time. Let me know what you think of today's makeovers in the comments section down below. Bye!